What's up, everybody? It's your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. Remember to check out all of our videos on our YouTube channel, as well as tune in every Monday night, 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern, to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, live on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. Hope you guys are going up and gearing for an amazing, safe, fun-loving weekend. But until now, let's go and talk about some professional wrestling. Today in my show, first segment, we got WWE SmackDown preview. Next, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about The Rock. The Rock is coming on SmackDown. Going to talk about, future storylines, potentially, maybe possible rivalries. If not, he starts a new one, or if he continues to pursue Cody. And then after that, we're going to talk about some NXT, great episode of WWE NXT. Then we're going to go ahead and move on to some AEW Dynamite. And in our fifth and final segment, we have a new faction appearing on WWE NXT Vengeance Day, kind of looking like a little reboot of Retribution mixed with the Shield. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some storylines, some bookings that WWE could possibly avoid to kind of divert, any kind of, disastrous or anything like that, because we want everybody to success. And, I think it could work. I think it can work, but, hey, we'll dive into it, during the fifth segment. First and foremost, before we start, whenever you guys see a live show on any of the YouTube networks, any of the shows, just be sure that we definitely love your guys' input. Definitely want you guys to feel absolutely comfortable. Do not be shy. Drop your thoughts inside the comment section. Drop your thoughts inside the chat. And, do whatever you can to get noticed on the show. We definitely do appreciate you guys. You guys are obviously 1,010% the lifeblood of the reason why we do what we do. All these amazing, passionate, enthusiastic podcasters, the reason why they do the things they want to do is they want to make sure that you guys consume all the sports content that you guys love so damn much. And guess what? It's absolutely 110% for free. Why not smash that Superman? Why not? Damn it, Superman punch that like and subscribe button. Basically, you have nothing to lose. Why not? Hit that. Just hit that. Sorry, no. Moving on. We got SmackDown. WWE SmackDown. Obviously, it's gearing up to be a good one. I'm super excited to see it. So let's go and dive on into it. First and foremost, we have, we are at the Smoothie King Arena in New Orleans. Joe Tessitore is actually set to return, which is cool. I really honestly didn't mind Vic Joseph last week. I thought, he did a remarkable job, kind of making the talent, kind of making everything something that Joe Tessitore does really, really well is to he makes everybody look like, I don't know if this makes sense. He makes everybody, it looks like it's like a main event caliber, match. And every single match, every single superstar to him is like a WWE champion. The way he talks about them, the way he ultimately kind of markets them when he's hyping them up and stuff like that. So definitely 1,010%. I do love Joe Tessitore back on the map. We have a match tonight. We have Jimmy Uso taking on Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, I believe, is going to win the Elimination Chamber. I don't know why. I have a feeling, because I feel like, him building up momentum to take on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, obviously the biggest babyface in the world of WWE right now. You have someone like Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, he's heel-ish, but he's not necessarily wrong about everybody kind of jumping back to Roman Reigns' side when he came back, and he really hasn't orchestrated any type of apology to the way he used to treat his family. There's been little scenes here and there of him, kind of being like, oh, maybe I was a jerk. Maybe, I did, overstep my boundaries and obviously treat you guys like crud. But that's the part of Drew McIntyre that I feel like if he main evented WrestleMania, I think it'd be good. It'd be great for him. He's a main event caliber wrestler. Will they do it? I heard they've been kind of having rumors about him and, Damian Priest starting a rivalry. Not too sure if I'm all for that, but, to be honest, tonight I feel like Drew McIntyre is going to win, build up some momentum. Next, we have the Street Profits looking to build momentum toward their tag team title run. I feel like they need to be champions. I love both these guys. Dawkins, Ford, obviously, I feel like they are main event caliber tag team wrestlers. Montez Ford, I believe, is a future WWE champion without a doubt. He's amazing inside the ring. He's great on the mic, and he's just, very marketable as a champion. D'Angelo Dawkins, obviously, not leaving him in the cold because him in himself, damn it, he's talented too. Very, very talented. He has what it takes to be a champion. Singles champion, I'm not too sure. Like if Montez Ford went down with an injury, obviously, God forbid, would he be able to kind of stand on his own? And if the question was asked like vice versa, I feel like it would be easier to be like, oh yeah, Montez Ford would be fine. Montez Ford would be fine, but D'Angelo Dawkins would probably, kind of falter a little bit, once when the tag team, kind of break apart, there's always one that thrives. There's always one that kind of, falters down, not too successful, gets bad bookings, because he's a tag team wrestler. Look at what happened with the Usos. Jey Uso was immediately main event. Jey Uso, he's a star. Jimmy Uso, kind of... not really good. It was like, okay, what's the storyline led for Jimmy Uso to ultimately appear in week after week after week in WWE? It was, that's why when Jimmy Uso came back from injury, they felt like, okay, we're not gonna revamp this rivalry between him and his brother. They are ultimately better together. Even if they're not tag teaming as like a baby face, kind of like I watch your back, you watch my back, we're brothers and stuff like that. I feel like it's overall better than, let's just make him a total heel and just have him be a total jerk. But I'm looking forward to see what the Street Profits have in store for SmackDown. We're bound to get a nice little elimination chamber standoff between all the competitors. Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, and CM Punk. All 6 of these men probably going to be on Raw and SmackDown for the next 2 weeks. We got 2 shows left from Raw and SmackDown. So, obviously building up momentum to see who's going to main event WrestleMania. Because, I love myself some Jey Uso. Love Gunther, 1,010%. But they're not really in my opinion, obviously, 1,010%. I would not believe that that's like a night 2 main event kind of caliber match. Watching John Cena potentially winning his 17th World Championship against, Cody Rhodes seems like it'd be marketable. CM Punk taking on Cody Rhodes would be awesome. Seth Rollins, I honestly don't think Seth Rollins is going to win. I don't think Logan's going to win. I don't think Damian Priest is going to win. So then we're kind of left with the 3 men on the bottom there: Drew McIntyre, John Cena, and CM Punk. Like I said, I'm a huge Drew McIntyre fan. I loved him when he was the WWE champion, how he carried WWE through an unprecedented time that was COVID-19. CM Punk as well, he would be an amazing opponent for Cody Rhodes, but, the rivalry between him, Seth Rollins, and the whole Roman Reigns thing, and, Paul Heyman owes Punk a favor, I feel like at this point you kind of have to make it Drew McIntyre or John Cena. But, hey, it could be anything. We're going to get momentum building up toward the Elimination Chamber for the unsanctioned match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, so I can't wait for that. We have Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, possibly building up for a little rematch for the WWE United States Championship at Elimination Chamber, maybe, or... for me, honestly, I would kind of like to see The Miz into it. I would love to see The Miz kind of implement his name within the United States title picture. He hasn't had a title in quite some time, but when he was the Intercontinental Champion, it kind of put the title on the map. LA Knight kind of did the same thing, but I like The Miz. I feel like The Miz still has a lot left in the tank, and he could definitely be that face of the United States Championship and make it prestigious like he did the Intercontinental. Chelsea Green needs an opponent for her WWE Women's United States Championship. WrestleMania seems a little bit more ideal. Maybe perhaps Elimination Chamber, she defends it. I don't think she's going to drop the title into WrestleMania. I feel like both mid-card titles, the Intercontinental and the United States Championship, will be dropped at WrestleMania. Right now, the women's mid-card, has been, kind of getting a lot of scrutiny. I, for one, it's not like I feel like WWE had a bad decision implementing more titles to the shows. I just feel like there's no depth in the storylines. We got Chelsea Green fighting Michin over and over and over and over again, and then you have Lyra Valkyria. I love Dakota Kai, but I feel like Ivy Nile should have won that number one contenders match on Monday Night Raw. Would have made for, would have built their storyline up. So then Ivy Nile was just talking crap this whole entire time. She eliminated Lyra Valkyria from the Women's Royal Rumble, and all that was for nothing. Absolutely for nothing. And, that kind of sucks. So I feel like both of these women will drop their titles at WrestleMania. Kind of like a fresh start. It's the Super Bowl of the NFL season. After the Super Bowl, it's kind of like a, fresh, clean start for WWE. But I want to see Chelsea Green defend that title at WrestleMania to a worthy opponent. Next, we have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are making their way to SmackDown, obviously, to address the Jade Cargill thing. We have a WWE Tag Team Championship match. Pretty Deadly have earned a shot at Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano's tag team titles last week after defeating them. No, it wasn't last week. I think it was the week before that. Yeah, I think it was the week before that. And, it would be interesting to see, them drop the titles, but I doubt it. I personally think they are building up to a major match at WrestleMania between four teams, maybe even Los Garza gets involved. Motor City Machine Guns, the Street Profits, Pretty Deadly, kind of your undercover, kind of your ace, not ace in the hole, because I feel like at this point I might be giving them way too much credit. But, they would create that shocking factor. It'd be a new flavor of how the WWE Tag Team titles will be represented on SmackDown. But, at this point, I feel like all four of these teams would represent the tag team title division really well, really 1,010%. I would, I know recently, well, not recently, I think it was about 2-3 months ago. No, wait, I think it was late. Yeah, I think it was like 3-4 months ago where they had that WWE Tag Team ladder match where the original Bloodline Tama Tonga and I think it was Fatu or Tungaloa was, because I know Fatu gave the title to Tungaloa. And then you had that ladder match where they retained, I believe, and I want to see something like that again. Have these four, have these 5 tag teams. Let's go ahead and implement Los Garza in that. It would be an amazing star-studded tag team battle at WrestleMania. So, I feel like that would be pretty badass. Or, which would be totally off guard and which would never, ever, ever happen because there's no 6th tag team out there. Well, actually, maybe there might be. Maybe Jakob Fatu and Tama Tonga. What if 1,010%, what if you have an Elimination Chamber match on, in 2 weeks, a tag team Elimination Chamber match? That would be pretty badass. I would love to see that. That would be a main event in it itself. But is it going to happen? Probably not, because, you got to protect the superstars, having them go through a hellacious Elimination Chamber match for no reason. Kind of like okay, why? But, an Attitude Era fan such as myself, you can always dream. That would be a pretty badass, 6 tag teams going at it. It'd be pretty cool. Alexa Bliss, obviously, last week on SmackDown, you saw the White 6, a little bit of a teaser. I want to see this happen as soon as possible. I feel like Alexa Bliss will eventually become the WWE Women's United States Championship. I thought about maybe her reuniting with Nikki ASH, obviously part of the Wyatt 6 now, going after the women's tag team titles. But, for me, I feel like that would be a little lackluster. I feel like that would ultimately kind of degrade the value of Alexa Bliss coming back to the WWE. You saw when she came out in the Royal Rumble, it absolutely popped off in Indianapolis. So I would not want to put this girl in the Women's World Tag Team division. Have this girl represent the United States Championship, defend it on a week-to-week basis, better than Chelsea Green. We all knew what we were going to get once when Chelsea Green won that championship. She was just going to kind of be a face. She was going to be like a trash talking. She was going to be conceited, cocky, and she's basically she's accomplished and checked all the boxes. So in my opinion, her United States Championship run was a huge whopping success. Now you kind of need to have a little bit something different here. They might be kind of building up something to the point where kind of like a Shawn Michaels Diesel kind of thing where you have Chelsea Green tell Piper Niven the wrong thing at the wrong time, and then Piper Niven, she loses her stuff, comes out, and then bam, she wins the WWE Women's United States Championship, which is a possibility. But Alexa Bliss, I feel like, deserves a shot at the title. Big main event 6-man tag team match. We have Damian Priest, Braun Strowman, and the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes taking on the young Bloodline, the new Bloodline. I feel like this is it. This is the last shot for Solo Sikoa to, remain in power. I feel like he will lose. They will lose this match. Solo Sikoa will, kind of be kicked out. Not kicked out of the young Bloodline, but he'll be shunned. Jakob Fatu, Tama Tonga will not be happy. They will not fall out. They will not, kind of fall in terms of their rankings inside, the Bloodline. We have Naomi also taking on Liv Morgan. Naomi believes that Liv Morgan is framing her for the attack of Jade Cargill. Aleister Black might be on SmackDown. Him and Rusev's contract in AEW has officially ended. They're done. They're free agents. They're ready to sign basically with whomever. So they could show up on SmackDown. Where is Randy Orton? Are we going to have a WrestleMania without Randy Orton? If Randy Orton is to have a match at WrestleMania, there has to be something, probably within the next 2 weeks, so we can start, building up momentum toward a rivalry. But at this point, being honest, I don't really see anybody that would be... Obviously, anybody that Randy Orton steps into the ring with, it would be like an instant classic. But at this point, Kevin Owens was kind of like my maybe Sami Zayn at the unsanctioned match. Kevin Owens wins, obviously, in Ring of Honor, where Kevin Steen and El Generico fought in an unsanctioned match. On El Generico, Sami Zayn got the win. So maybe it's Kevin's turn. Kevin Owens wins this unsanctioned match, completely destroys Sami Zayn. And then Kevin Owens, obviously, high on his horse. The following episode of Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, Randy Orton comes out and is like, I remember what you did to me. I'm going to do the same thing what you did to poor Sami Zayn. And maybe we'll get a Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton during WrestleMania. But overall, I would doubt Sami Zayn missing WrestleMania. I would. 1,010% I would. The Rock, the final boss, announced Thursday night on social media that he was going to come after a certain someone and F them up. I believe this has a lot to do with the main event, the 6-man tag team match. Like I was mentioned before, Solo Sikoa, for the last time, will lose. The Rock, absolutely disgusted by Solo Sikoa, leading the family into ultimate failure. The Bloodline, besides Roman Reigns, has been, a little bit lackluster. Roman Reigns, obviously, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and Jay. Tama Tonga, they don't look good. Jakob Fatu, he always looks impressive, but, he could be better. Solo Sikoa, at this point in time, he just looks kind of like a loser. So The Rock's going to come in. He's going to maybe potentially, you're going to see him come out with Solo Sikoa, Jakob Fatu, and Tama Tonga, and then they attack Solo Sikoa at the end of the night. And then WWE SmackDown might go off the air with them raising up the ones with potentially the final boss. Jakob Fatu, Tama Tonga would obviously be behind him, and then this would start their feud with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns forced to ask for help from Jimmy Uso. They will be outmanned. Obviously, Jey Uso is grooming up, is getting ready for his title bout at WrestleMania against the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. So they kind of have to not rely on Jey Uso. Solo Sikoa maybe falls back in line potentially. Maybe he does, maybe Roman does forgive him. And I don't know, but I've seen on social media that, I guess Azila Fatu, he said, no, what did he say? Damn it. But basically he kind of gave like a little bit of an Easter egg, and then everybody's kind of wondering if he's going to be on WWE SmackDown, maybe kind of be an enforcer that The Rock brings in. But it's all up in the air. Jakob Fatu and Zila Fatu, obviously they were tag team champions in MLW. It would be amazing to see them come back on Raw, and ultimately it would make the Bloodline look absolutely unstoppable and make them look like top tier main event caliber superstars. Bringing The Rock, bringing in Zila, it would be, they would restore the honor of the Bloodline, and they would be absolutely unstoppable. They would take down Roman Reigns. Everybody would just they would rule SmackDown and Raw, obviously. But, will it happen? Who knows? And that's what we're going to talk about next. In our second segment, we have The Rock returning for WrestleMania season possible storylines, possible, breakdowns. Obviously, we're going to talk about him on SmackDown tonight. Obviously, SmackDown has not aired. We're trying to get this video out as soon as possible. So, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alright, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings amongst superstars. We talk about promotions from the GCW to New Japan Professional Wrestling to WWE to AEW to Ring of Honor to TNA. We talk about it all here on this show, and remember to constantly check on YouTube for updated videos. I upload videos during the week. If you go ahead and Superman punch that like and subscribe button, you will get some notifications when some new content comes out. 1,010% appreciate every single eye on this podcast. Appreciate you guys' time, your attention. So I just want to just want to see you happy. Just want to see you happy. All right, without a doubt, now we're going to talk about The Rock, possible storylines on SmackDown, and he's back. He's back just in time for WrestleMania season on Thursday night. It was announced that The Rock will be making his return to WWE. Obviously, the CEO of WWE, Triple H, Paul Levesque, posted on social media, and I quote, he said, "Strap in. When the final boss shows up this time of year, the audience knows absolutely anything is possible. Everything could change in an instant." And that's true. When The Rock comes back to WWE, things change. And that's kind of like a right that he has. He's obviously alumni, I guess you can say. He's, what is the right word for it? Oh, God, it's going to drive me crazy. He's like a legend that's not a legend yet. He's like, it's like his birthright to be there. If this was a game of, I can't think of the word right now. But the final boss took to social media saying the final boss is coming to handle business, deliver a big, beautiful gift to the city of New Orleans, and obviously F up anybody, the certain life. I did not see that swear word right there. I apologize. But anyways, he's going to try to attack a certain somebody. It'd be a huge cop out to be like, it's Cody Rhodes, it's Roman Reigns, no problem. I feel like WWE needs a little bit more of a shock factor than that. The Rock could definitely be the savior that WrestleMania needs. As of right now, the match card, we have Gunther taking on Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's good. I feel like because they fought at WWE Saturday Night's main event, I feel like maybe it's a little bit of like a, B+, A- kind of thing. We have Charlotte Flair taking on Tiffany Stratton. I love Tiffany Stratton 1,010%. I do like Charlotte Flair. I would have rather saw Charlotte and Rhea. I'm sorry. But at this point, we have, that match, and that for me is like a B+ match as well. We're going to find out who's taking on Cody Rhodes in the Elimination Chamber. But if The Rock, decides to challenge Cody Rhodes or something like that, maybe he tries to insert himself, hijack WrestleMania once again, that would be interesting. That would be damn interesting. But overall, I feel like The Rock is definitely something that WrestleMania needs 1,010%. So let's go to talk possible storylines here. I definitely think there's he could definitely be trying to target Solo Sikoa. Like I mentioned during my SmackDown preview, I feel like this is the last match that Solo Sikoa loses. Jakob Fatu Tama Tonga does not want to fall out under the tribal chief, self-proclaimed tribal chief anymore. Solo Sikoa will lose his crew. The Rock will come out, and I feel like they'd screw him up. They would definitely. What is it? What did he use social media? F him up, man. So. I feel like that's a huge storyline that could work. And, that would obviously turn a lot of attention, including Roman Reigns' head being like, all right, The Rock is here. Now, obviously, he's coming after one thing. He's coming after the Ula Fala. And as soon as he gets done with his family business, I feel like that's maybe the one he'll target Cody Rhodes. But at this point, anything's kind of up in the air. I feel like we could possibly see The Rock lead Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu to take on Roman Reigns in a 6-man tag team match at WrestleMania. Solo Sikoa was forced to fall out under Roman Reigns, beg for his apology. And, of course, you have Jimmy Uso on SmackDown, not really doing anything, not really any plans for WrestleMania. So this would be a huge 6-man tag team match that would turn a lot of heads, obviously. This would be huge for, who's going to be the next tribal chief. Or, there's been speculations that The Rock is just basically going to SmackDown tonight to, kind of represent his superstar status in Hollywood. This year, I believe he had a bunch of movies come out. And now he has one where, he's an Italian mafia boss or something like that, directed by Martin Scorsese. And then there was Red One during Christmas. There was Moana 2. And there was that one where he was a boxer. I don't remember the name of that movie. But he is all over the place right now. So, just kind of represent, his superstar status in Hollywood is ideal. Also, there's been a backstage rumor that he's coming to, reports have emerged that Ava, the general manager of WWE NXT, The Rock's daughter in real life, was set up for something of a push. Can I see her inside the ring? I think she could do it. She looks like she looks strong. Kind of reminds me of like a Raquel Rodriguez kind of thing, dominant. Obviously, student of the game. Her dad's The Rock, so obviously she's been around the world of wrestling her whole entire life. But right now, as general manager on NXT, she's doing a stand-up job. She's doing great. I wouldn't like her, kind of being, oh, my daughter's going to come wrestle and kick everyone's ass and win every title in WWE. I like Ava in that authoritative figure on NXT. I wouldn't really want to see that go anywhere. And she has her hands full right now. So I doubt anything's going to, kind of come fruition in terms of that. Or we also have The Rock, maybe tonight on SmackDown, maybe announcing that he'll be in Elimination Chamber. Maybe instead of 2 guys starting out, we have 3. That would be absolutely huge. Or maybe he could potentially take out somebody like Damian Priest. He can beat the holy hell out of him to the point where Nick Aldis is forced with the hard decision of, who am I going to pick to, represent, who to take Damian Priest's spot inside the Elimination Chamber, so then he's going to have a last triple threat match, or he's going to have a battle royal, and then The Rock is going to win it and wind up in the Elimination Chamber. That could definitely happen as well. And thus, you would see The Rock win Elimination Chamber, having him take on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. Because as of right now, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins are rumored to have a triple threat bout at WrestleMania. I would love to see that as opposed to a forced, tribal combat match. I know they do have about 8-7 weeks to kind of set this up, and WWE could do it if they want to do it. They forced it. They moved up the Solo Sikoa Roman Reigns feud for the Ula Fala up to the premiere of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. So aggressive booking. They would both have to be on SmackDown and Raw though. I feel like they would have to. Having them just appear on one show, I feel like might kind of, create a little bit of a, kind of a blotchy, a little bit of a, a lackluster storyline. But it could happen. It could happen. Damian Priest as well. If they do not go with the angle that, maybe, he doesn't beat the hell out of Damian Priest to take his spot. It's been rumored, like I said before, Drew McIntyre taking on Damian Priest at WrestleMania because of everything that happened at the Royal Rumble. And the last conspiracy theory, the reason why he's coming to SmackDown. Obviously, this is kind of up in the air, but I read it on, I think it was I'm not too sure. But, he could be coming to basically come face-to-face and confront Triple H, Paul Levesque, the CEO of WWE, that so far WrestleMania, the bookings, it's been bad. Maybe he comes back as the authority rock, like he did when he, during the Netflix premiere on Monday Night Raw, and he basically did nothing. And I felt like it kind of ultimately... I feel like it hurt WWE, and I feel like it hurt a lot of potential storylines that you could have stemmed from that if you saw The Rock take out Roman Reigns, if you saw him beat the hell out of Cody Rhodes. But instead, he was, he was shown chugging beers backstage with Cody Rhodes. He gave Roman Reigns a hug, presented him with Ulafala. That in itself could obviously lay down some, potential Easter eggs and maybe be a part of a plot or a storyline for that matter. But, maybe some ways down the line, him and Triple H, obviously, I don't think I can see Triple H lace up his boots again, especially, after that scare with his heart and everything. Maybe both, I read that maybe potentially they could each choose a superstar to represent them, perhaps, or they put a team together to take on each other, which would be, I would think that would be terrible. But, definitely resourcing, definitely researching absolutely any and all storylines that we can see with The Rock heading up toward WrestleMania. So, make sure you guys tune into SmackDown tonight. It should be a good one, 1,010%, and the final boss will be there to quote-unquote F a certain someone's life up. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about some WWE NXT. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 20 seconds. So do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, uploading content. Every Monday night, I am live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Central Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We talk about everything under the sun in terms of professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings amongst superstars. We talk about promotions from wrestling, from WWE to AEW to the GCW to New Japan Professional Wrestling. We talk about it all here on this show. If it makes major news in the world of WWE, AEW, basically anywhere in the world of professional wrestling, whether it's Stardom, TNA, Ring of Honor, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. All right, so without further ado, we have WWE NXT. So obviously this was a fallout of all the action that happened Vengeance Day, and it was a good pay-per-view. It wasn't too bad. Oba Femi comes out. The moment he does, says that they didn't finish the job, obviously, kind of proclaiming to the people that attacked him, Dion Lennox's crew. Is it Vengeance Day? Is that the name of the crew? I feel like that'd be kind of stupid, but you know what? It could work, I guess. So he came out. basically telling them to show their faces, and you didn't get the job done, so come and finish me off. Come and finish me off. The WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion was caught by surprise, where you finally, I've been waiting for Moose to cross that line to NXT. It was kind of cool to see him do so. The X Division Champion shows up. Obviously, this kind of bounces back on what you saw on NXT Vengeance Day backstage, where you saw Santino Marella and Ava, talking. And, I want this to, I want this to be more of an occurrence. I want this to be more of kind of like a Ring of Honor AEW Dynamite kind of thing, where you see a lot of people from Ring of Honor compete on Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage. That's what I want to see. I feel like that would be so amazing for both of these promotion. This cross promotional thing is, it could be completely insanely badass. Obviously, I feel like they are kind of holding back to be like, you got to save some storylines for, you can't just all unload everything on there. That's just me being a wrestling fan, having that fandom, kind of being like, oh, I just want to see it all real quick, But, Moose, obviously, he says this has to happen. And then Obafemi says, don't worry, it will. It'd be so crazy to see the X Division champion taking on the NXT champion. Triple threat match time. We got Jada Parker, Carmen Petrovich, and Kaylani Jordan with the help of Ashanti the Adonis. You saw Carmen Petrovich pick up the victory. It was such a shock. But now we're going to ultimately see this whole storyline between Jada Parker and Kaylani Jordan kind of come in fruition here. What's the next? Roadblock. So maybe they can't fight at Roadblock. Maybe, it'd be kind of cool to kind of see a different version of Kaylani Jordan come alive. And, much like you saw Jada Parker take on Lola Vice in that street fight, maybe you see Kaylani Jordan kind of, what was it, Spider-Man 3, where it was, Spider-Man 3, the one with Tobey Maguire, where, he found the Venom suit, and, it just changed him. It changed him into somebody that he was a little bit ruder. It was kind of cool, So maybe Kaylani Jordan could kind of be going toward that ultimate storyline. And is WWE stealing plot twist from Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire? Maybe. I'm just kidding. No. But I feel like that'd be cool. Kaylani Jordan, she becomes a heel. She does heelish things where she cheats to win. Brass knuckles, exposes turnbuckles, uses the ropes for leverage. In a submission move where she won't, unleash the lock until the referee absolutely 1,010% after the count of 5 has to force her to do so. All these heelish things that she could possibly do, backmouth the fans. She's not that sweetheart anymore. I would love to see that. And, her taking on Jada Parker would be pretty badass. So once when Carmen Petrovich picks up the victory, Parker and Jordan, they go off to the concourse and they fight, and the Fatal Influence come out to attack the number one contender, Carmen Petrovich. And, during the whole commercial break thing, I thought it was wild. I thought it was wild how you saw Carmen Petrovich getting her ass kicked during a Chick-fil-A commercial. And I was like, are they going to let this go on this whole entire commercial? And once when the commercial's over, finally somebody comes out to help her out. It was a couple of commercials later, but somebody did come out first. You saw the NXT Women's Champion, Julia. Then you saw Stephanie Vaquer finally come out, and they were still kind of getting beat down. And then Jordan Grace comes out ultimately to pay dividends and show Fatal Influence, hey, let's have a 6-woman tag team match in the main event. And it was made. We got Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend of Metaphor taking on Zarya and Soruka. This was a good match. I definitely do respect Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson in that women's tag team division. I feel like they'd be, since they actually are tag team wrestlers. And I'm not trying to hate on Bianca, Naomi, and Jade. But right now, the women's division on SmackDown and on Raw, to kind of help create a little bit of prestige in that women's mid-card title, you need those 3 girls. You need those 3 girls 1,010%. And, I'm not trying to downgrade the value of the Women's World Tag Team Championships, because I feel like it is ultimately for tag team individuals. But, Zarya and Soruka also have cemented their name by defeating the Meta Girls tonight on NXT. And it was a good bout. I was happy it wasn't a smash match. I did not want that to happen. I felt like that would have overall devalued Jackson and Legend. So I was happy that didn't happen. So then we get the Ricky Starks contract signing. Obviously, it's not Ricky Starks anymore. Ricky Saints. I buy it. It's cool. But when he's on the mic, I got to be honest, AEW once again, kind of wastes the young talent. I went back and I watched some Ricky Starks highlights on AEW, and he was great. He definitely could have been a young rising star, unlocked in the world of professional wrestling. Like I mentioned before, kind of reminds me of like a young, The Rock. He has that it factor to him. He dresses, what is it during the Attitude? No, was it during the Attitude Era? Where it was like The Rock's $700 shirt or something like that. He kind of seems like that, and he has a way of creating storylines and plots just by the way he talks on the microphone, cutting promos. So I definitely like this. Ethan Page coming out, Javon Evans. So we're gonna get a tag team match next week. Wes Lee as well coming out to confront Saints. It's gonna take some getting used to. I'm probably gonna call him Ricky Starks a couple of times. I'm just being brutally honest, but it was good. It was cool. It was awesome. It was definitely what NXT needed. It's something that Ricky Saints needed. And he's going to do wonders in NXT. We had the No Quarter Catch crew, Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights, call out the TNA World Tag Team titles. Matt and Jeff Hardy, they're going to fight next week. So the Hardy Boys back in WWE. I think that's kind of cool. Do I want to see them on SmackDown or Raw? Not really. But now we're kind of building up toward like NXT and TNA. Constantly having cross-promotional matches, trying to prove that, no, I don't think they're trying to prove which show is the better show. So, maybe kind of comparing it to the early Raw versus SmackDown, in the early 2000s might be a little bit too much of a push, because I would not really want to see, TNA superstars, talk crap on NXT, and I wouldn't want to see NXT superstars to trash, TNA as a promotion. I feel like that would be, I don't think that would be a great storyline to kind of have that. But kind of having it like the two shows, Raw and SmackDown, where you kind of see, like where you see Roman Reigns come on Raw and SmackDown, to kind of represent when he was the undisputed champion. It was great. It was good. It was perfect. So I definitely want to see more of that. Obviously, falling into that same regime, I guess you can say, would be pretty badass. Shawn Spears defeats Stax. Obviously, kind of knew that was going to happen. Moose and Lexis King, obviously talking backstage. Alexis King is going to get a shot at the X Division Championship next week. Andre Chase taking on Eddie Thorpe. Eddie Thorpe keeps building up momentum. Andre Chase, it looked like a Chase U reboot with those two guys. Kind of sucks. I thought it was terrible. Andre Chase needs a direction to kind of go into, because right now it seems like he is heading toward a release, and it sucks. But it is what it is. Trick Williams obviously announcing that he still has a slate. He still has, something against Eddie Thorpe, and their feud is not yet finished. In the main event, we saw Fatal Influence get dominated by Jordan Grace, Julia, and Stephanie Vaquer. Jordan Grace was able to pick up the win, pinning Jasmine Nix. It was a good show. It was definitely love it 1,010%. Now we're gonna start building up momentum toward NXT Roadblock. All right, so hey, do not go anywhere. We have another recap. We have another review. We have some more reactions by your wrestling laureate. We have AEW Dynamite. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 20 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 o'clock Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. Constantly uploading, well, trying to upload as much content as I possibly can about professional wrestling. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show to get notifications about more and new content. Obviously, we talk about all the action inside the ring, outside of the ring, backstage, curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions amongst superstars. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW to Ring of Honor, TNA, New Japan Professional Wrestling, GCW, Deathlock Professional Wrestling, MLW. We make sure we cover all wrestling. And if it makes major news, we're going to cover it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to debate. We're going to come up with some awesome fandom conspiracy theories. We're going to come up with some cool storylines. Obviously, that's what we do in wrestling. That's wrestling fans right there. Wrestling Fans United right there. Bam. We should make a YouTube page, an Instagram page. We should start our own wrestling Twitter. I'm just kidding, though. That'd be pretty interesting, though. Got to be honest. So, without further ado, let's jump on into our next segment. We got AEW Dynamite recap. MJF, Hangman Adam Page, this much anticipated rivalry is finally happened. MJF talking about how, Hangman Adam Page cheap shotted him, and that it seems like he's always the good guy. Hangman Adam Page, I can definitely see that. Is he turning face? Yes, I do believe that. MJF right now, he's the top heel. Anybody that faces him seems like it's, they're just going to come out as a baby face right off the bat. But this feud could definitely help propel AEW and help it kind of stay balanced up until, because as of right now, and I'm not trying to crap on AEW, but the main storyline is what's happening with the Death Riders, with Cope, Switchblade, Jay White, and those are the superstars of AEW. So then they should have the show ultimately tailored around them, but it's to the point where you kind of have to have some new, have a little bit of a new taste. And, if this MJF and the Hangman Adam Page rivalry is, if it's done really correct, heading up to AEW All In Texas, we could definitely see after All In, maybe a revamped or rejuvenated AEW audience going to more shows, buying more tickets, purchasing merchandise, because, AEW seems like it kind of lost its groove a little bit. You have superstars quitting left and right, leaving left and right. And that sucks. It sucks because those are great wrestlers like, Miro, Aleister Black, Ricky Starks, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jade Cargill. There's a, bunch of talent that AEW, if you would have played your cards right, ultimately probably would have kept that. But, I feel like, you have two of the top faces in AEW. Just, I feel like this needs to happen. This really needs to happen. This needs to be done super well. It was an absolute bombshell of a promo. I thought it was, pretty awesome. I feel like we are in for one fun ride. MJF, obviously phenomenal at what he does. A spit in the face of Hangman, and we're making Hangman more of a babyface. Christopher Daniels comes out, tries to talk some sense, seemingly talks some sense into Hangman Adam Page. So, Christopher Daniels unlocked the babyface of Adam Page. So, just kidding. Moving on. So, we have the Patriarchy losing another match against Hook, Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, the Ops. I'm not too sure how I feel about that, but they pull it off pretty freaking well, the Ops. But the Patriarchy, man, you just see Christian Cage walking around with that, with that clipboard. Are they to the point where it's a little, irrelevant in AEW? I feel like maybe they do. I feel like they get more attention in Ring of Honor. Definitely Collision for sure. But on Dynamite, something that's the top tier show, kind of like the Monday Night Raw of WWE. AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights has always kind of been a wrestling fan's dream, to have wrestling on Wednesday, because for the longest time it was just Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, nothing really in between. Well, obviously, Impact and all that, but, out of the top, quote unquote, the top tier wrestling methods, AEW has definitely put wrestling on the map on Wednesdays. So I feel like AEW Dynamite is kind of like their star show. The patriarchy just continued to lose. I don't think Christian Cage at this point, I feel like everything that was prestigious about him is ultimately kind of demoted. And I'm not trying to be mean. I do like Christian Cage. I respect him. Obviously, he was amazing in WWE. When he made it to AEW, he had a pretty good singles run. But, the time is now. The time is now. Cash in that contract. I want to see Christian Cage be the AEW World Heavyweight Champion going into AEW All In. Maybe by that time you kind of have Darby Allin come back and challenge Christian Cage, because right now you don't have to have the title on Jon Moxley to have some attention around the Death Riders. So with the title in the briefcase, it feels like he doesn't really care that much about it anyways. Well, he does, because, he shed blood, sweat, and tears and all that kind of stuff. He put AEW on the map. So in that case, he does care about being a champion. But being brutally honest, you could have a show around Jon Moxley where you can have the main event without him holding the title. But then you don't want to diminish the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. But if you have Christian Cage somehow randomly win it, obviously at the end of Revolution, you have Cope and Jon Moxley beat the holy hell out of each other, and then in comes slithering in is Christian Cage, and then his former tag team partner and best friend, Adam Copeland, is forced to watch Christian Cage win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. That would be kind of cool, because the last time you saw these two compete was that I Quit match for the TBS Championship. No, TNT, sorry. TBS, that would have been weird. No, it was, I feel like there needs to be a different direction. Christian Cage, he's not it anymore. He's not main event caliber status, in my opinion, 1,010%. So, but I feel like this needs to happen. Powerhouse Hobbs takes down, Big Bill of the Learning Tree. Definitely love that. Toni Storm comes out and calls out the AEW, women's division as well. Also, kind of talking about Mariah May. So, having her be the women's champion, I got to be honest, I like it. I feel like it's, I do love the way that Mariah May represented that championship. But there's something different about Toni Storm. And I feel like she has more, not pizzazz, that's not the right word. More, her title run, whenever she comes out and talks on the mic, it's kind of like, it's more popping and stuff like that. And right now she's kind of viewed as a babyface. So now there's an array of superstars that will challenge Toni Storm. Hopefully help this AEW women's division, because they deserve some good attention. Marina Shafir, obviously still beating the hell out of Willow of Nightingale. I want to see Willow back into, TBS championship caliber match. I would love to see that. Death Riders obviously still causing havoc, doing what they do. You had Cope and Switchblade Jay White once again try to run him out of town. I feel like overall, Adam Copeland, Switchblade Jay White, they want to put an end to the Death Riders, and it's. At this point with AEW, you have story. I feel like storylines kind of fall a little bit too easy. Obviously, everything with the Elite thing with Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, with Kazuchika Okada, with Jack Perry, who, at this point seems irrelevant, and Okada only comes out to defend his Continental Championship once in a while and drops a couple of B-bombs on Dynamite here and there. So. Something that the Death Riders are doing right is they're staying consistent. So that's definitely something you got to throw a little bit of, you got to throw some credit there. Momo of Stardom wants to face Mercedes Moné for her TBS championship at Revolution at Crypto.com Arena. So I'm excited for that. Maybe, but if I get my taxes in time, maybe I might go to that show. That would be pretty badass. I live in Southern California, so why not? Let's just do it. Chris Statlander takes on Megan Bayne. Penelope Ford obviously comes out to, help Bayne defeat Statlander. Thunder Rosa comes out with the chair. And I got to be honest, she just looked a little lost out there. Didn't really seem like she had a purpose. She had the chair. And, you look at, Ford, you look at Bayne. They're not even moved or riveted from the thought of Thunder Rosa throwing that steel chair at him. I didn't really understand that. And I thought when Thunder Rosa would come back, to AEW Dynamite. I really thought it was going to be more of like it's like, oh, damn, this girl is back in action. This girl's going to tear off some faces, win some championships, and she's going to look absolutely amazing in the process. Didn't really get that vibe. Maybe, the storyline will go on, and maybe sometime down the line, maybe on Collision or Rampage, maybe perception might be different, but I thought that was bad. That booking or that promo was pretty bad. We're probably looking for a tag team match with her and Statlander taking on Ford and Bane at Revolution. But I want to see Thunder Rosa back in that title picture. This obviously did not help whatsoever. Ricochet comes out, talking about how he wants to be much like Kevin Durant, and he told the Phoenix, Arizona audience that he wanted to leave. He said he wants to, he came to AEW to win gold. Prince Nana comes out, 3 decades in the business, missing his robe that Ricochet stole. Ricochet, looks him dead in the eye. He's like, yeah, you can have it. You have to take it from me. And then obviously Prince Nana, he's like, are you going to cry? You're going to cry? No, I thought that was kind of stupid. Kind of like elementary school, like status, like, roasting, I guess you can say. That's what the kids say nowadays. Roasting, or trying to antagonize him, trying to create that promo. And I don't, that was, it was mid. But there we go with the nowadays kids terms right there. I'm getting good, guys. I'm getting good. Roderick Strong loses against Orange Cassidy. It was kind of cool to see Jim Ross on the call on the main event. Freshly Squeezed is back in the win column. He's back on AEW, and I can't wait to see him maybe potentially win another AEW International Championship. That'd be pretty cool. First time, 3-time winner. I think that's what they said. But yeah, AEW Dynamite. It was okay. It was okay. WWE's newest NXT faction comes in. We're going to talk about the future. Bookings to avoid, storylines that might be able to put over these young superstars. We're going to talk about that when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. You join me here in about 20 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere. And we are back with sorry, excuse me. I knew that cough was coming, so I was kind of waiting until it stopped, or it was going to start. But of course, it starts as soon as I open up my big fat mouth. Thank you for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. We just talked about some AEW Dynamite NXT review. I gave you guys my thoughts about The Rock's potential storylines on SmackDown. We also talked about, we previewed SmackDown in itself. So make sure you guys check out those videos on YouTube, 1010%. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about NXT newest faction on NXT Vengeance Day. After the Oba Femi retain and the Fraxium retain, you saw a group of masked men come out and attack all 3 superstars. We've seen a number of factions in WWE. We've seen D-Generation X, the Hart Foundation, the Bloodline, the Shield. NXT has been teasing this mystery faction for quite some time. And like I said, on Saturday, they showed up for masked men. And, obviously, trying to cement them coming to, well, not coming to, but, reestablishing their name. They want to challenge for the NXT World Tag Team Championships. They want to challenge Obafemi. They want to rule all of NXT. So that storyline is basically all they have right now. That's basically all they have right now. NXT, they want to establish, something new, a little bit of it, like an edgier kind of thing. Obviously, you don't want to wind up like Retribution, which I feel like they'll avoid it. But on the last episode of NXT, you kind of saw it going off air, where you saw a beaten, broken locker room. You saw Stone taking out spray paint on the wall saying nobody is safe. The 4 masked men have been unveiled. We got Cutler James, Deion Lennox, Osiris Griffin, and Saquon Sugars. WWE social media has remained optimistic, but most have compared the group to Nexus, Retribution, and The Shield. We've seen a bunch of Twitter reactions. People saying, "Hey, are we honestly really doing this again?" These talents have been barely seen on WWE NXT television. So why should we care? Why should we care about these 4 men who, last time you saw Deion Lennox was, he used to tag team with the Shanti the Adonis, and then he was that smart, cute, sensitive guy, that sensitive friend, to Karen Petrovich. And now he's coming in to lead a group that's going to, quote unquote, kick everyone's ass. It's a little far-fetched. A clear sign of NXT trying to build up a new talent in the men's division. And you can't really hate what they're trying to do here. You got 4 young rising stars. Why not try to create something that could be possibly special? Knocking it in the dirt right off the bat seems a little grim. I just feel like, based on what happened with Retribution, with Nexus and stuff like that, it doesn't really seem like, the numbers game. You've seen the Bloodline do success with it, but it's the Bloodline. You've had Jimmy and Jey Uso, an established tag team. You had Solo Sikoa, young rising star, obviously didn't really come in fruition that way, and you had Roman Reigns. These 4 men, they're rookies trying to make it up to the top. And, you think about them challenging Obafemi for that NXT championship, you don't really get that. It's given that there's still a lot of time. I feel like maybe they'll get a championship match at Roadblock. But having somebody, the greatest thing that I love about NXT is the competition. I love the fact that, there's a lot of different storylines, there's a lot of different competition, a lot of different personas, and now you have these 4 masked men that just want to come around and cause ruckus to absolutely anyone. So for me, I don't really buy it. It's not really a product that I would really necessarily kind of want to see these 4 men in. But like I said, it's something. Maybe it got down to them, their contracts being, renegotiated, and they're like, all right, but we need to think about something, fast. We need to see if something picks up off the ground, and, you guys are going to come in basically like a Retribution 2.0, which they kind of have been seeing, and, even when they came in, it just didn't really see, like, I don't know. You had the NXT fans chanting, "Who are you?" That was pretty bad. The women's division obviously outshined the men's. It looks a little silly and a little bit dull. And, even during the beatdown, you saw one of the guys pull their mask up over their face, seeming like they don't really know what to do or how to, I don't know. For me, I thought that was it. I saw that too, and I was like, man, that looks a little silly. Looks, and we don't want to see that Retribution role. Obviously, Mustafa Ali's group, Mace, he then moved to the MXN collection. Slapjack, the guy moved to New Japan Professional Wrestling. T-Bar was Dijak. Reckoning was Mi Chin. Retaliation was Mercedes Martinez, who eventually made it to Ring of Honor. Retribution, honestly, it just wasn't really a good call. Doing things like this, it's just silly. It's just very silly. It's constantly, ever since their debut, they've been consistently They've been getting negative reactions from critics, fans, and industry figures. Adam Silverstein of CBS Sports kind of named it in a nutshell here. He said this, and I quote, once when Retribution was there, they kind of seemed like a bunch of pissed off teenagers causing trouble after school. And that's kind of right. That's kind of exactly the way you saw these group of guys come in like that. Like, Mustafa Ali, Dion Lennox, guys that want to be somebody, that want to be, that want to be better than the rest, that want to establish themselves as main eventers, that want to make it in wrestling, and you can't really fault them for that. But so far, it's been put in a huge negative light. For them to kind of be successful, I feel like they have to avoid, what Retribution did wrong. Constantly, like Silverstein said, act like a bunch of teenagers and beat people up after school. And they were very consistent with their promos, and overall, every single time they fought in a match, they lost. They weren't really that great. It was terrible before it ultimately, kind of set off. And, Retribution obviously came in with a lot of momentum. I kind of did have high hopes about it. I love Mustafa Ali, these big, bad, and, intimidating guys. They want to constantly recreate what the Shield did with Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. But three very special superstars who are, to this day, absolutely heavyweight main event guys. Roman Reigns was the, one of the longest reigning undisputed championship reigns. Seth Rollins has done everything under the sun in terms of accomplishments. Dean Ambrose did some things at WWE, mostly established himself in AEW, where he's kicking ass as Jon Moxley. Like I said, for these guys, for them to have a purpose in NXT, for them not constantly checking their phones, receiving text messages or voicemails saying that their contracts aren't going to be renewed, saying that they're going to be released from WWE. So in that case, I definitely get it. But WWE has to, absolutely 1,010%, they have to be careful with some of the bookings that they're going to have, with some potential storylines, the picking and the choosing of opponents that they decide to go after. And going after big fish like Oba Femi, the NXT World Heavyweight Champion, going after NXT Tag Team Champions Fraxium. For me, I feel like that wasn't really a good end. I get it that it popped out. And, the moment they attack the champions, they get immediate attention. But I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to ease on into it. The promos were, them just in, it was in black. You didn't really know who it was. So you were kind of like guessing who could it be. And the moment I kind of saw Ricky Starks debut in NXT, I was kind of like, oh, you know what? I kind of ultimately thought it was going to be, maybe Ricky Starks coming in with this new badass group where he is the, kind of like the Bloodline leader. And, they start kicking ass on NXT. I feel like maybe that storyline could have worked. I definitely 1,010%. I don't just want to see these guys on NXT. I want to see these guys on TNA. TNA and NXT really, honestly, have to work together to make this group amazing. If that's exactly what they're trying to do. They have to go after the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Joe Hendry. I would love to see, because obviously Joe Hendry, big babyface figure in the world of total nonstop action. Seeing them come on Impact to, kind of take down that champion there, it'd be big. It'd be very, very big. Also, maybe, they see them size up against the System, taking on Moose. But then again, the System has been around for quite some time. They have prestigious accomplishments and accolades, for themselves. But for this, I feel like for this faction to be good, you can't rush it. Don't put them up against big fish that they can't fry. Definitely, ease on into it, having them, at the end of NXT, right, spray paint on the wall when no one is safe. Kind of could come on a little strong there. Kind of like a guy trying to hit on a girl at a bar, or vice versa. Where they kind of just like come and oh, you're so pretty. I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. But I don't know, just coming out too strong, I guess you can say. Coming out too strong. They need to stay consistent. They need to win match after match after match. If they win by cheating, I'm not too sure. But something that the Shield did when they debuted on WWE is that, there was times where maybe you would get them one-on-one, but they'd mostly kind of fight as a trio. They'd be a 3-man, get 3 guys to take us on, and then we'll take you guys on. And that's how they slowly but surely kind of became big names in WWE. 4 guys. You're going to get like 4-on-4 matches from now on NXT. Doubt that's going to happen. You're going to get that classic Bloodline, blueprint. You have the main event guy. You have the leader, the guy who runs it all, obviously Dion Lennox. You have 2 guys in the tag team, that are going to be in the tag team division. And you're probably going to get a guy to go after the NXT North American Championship. After the North American Championship, I feel like that would have been a better first step. So then you would have like a 4-on-4 kind of thing with the family, the D'Angelo family. Well, not 4-on-4, but they'd have to get another guy. But, that would at least be like a 3-on-3. But going after like Obafemi, who's literally like by himself, so obviously you're not going to take the title off him unless you guys, you guys cheat to win, which for me, I feel like that'd be bad because that would, kind of destroy the legacy of like fair competition. By all means, you're a heel faction, so then who gives an F? But to win over the WWE Universe and have them not chanting, "Who are you?" You kind of have to show that you belong in the ring. You can't, if there were better known superstars, maybe I'd get it. Obviously, like I said, 4 young, absolute rising stars in NXT and in the world of wrestling. But I just don't want this to be over before it began. And so far, I got to be honest, I'm getting red flags. I'm seeing red flags. I'm agreeing with all the Twitter trolls online with the consistent, negative battery from the critics, from the fans, and from the industry figures. And as of right now, I agree with what Adam Silverstein said of CBS Sports. The reason why he wasn't really a huge fan of Retribution is they did exactly what these 4 men did on NXT Vengeance Day to Obafemi, to Nathan Frazier, and Axiom, the NXT World Tag Team titles, the title holders. And just a bunch of pissed off teenagers causing trouble after school, man. I'm just kidding. No, but it was, I don't know. And their style of dressing, kind of black, all black, Shield, Retribution. So that, kind of didn't start off, I don't know. For me, it didn't really hit. Hasn't really started on the right foot, but, not trying to knock it just yet. Not, trying to stay openly optimistic about it. So, let's, hopefully, I always want to see young, talented wrestlers kind of be all they can be in an industry that obviously they've dedicated their time, attention, and their lives to. So, obviously I want to see these 4 guys make it. I want to see this work. I want to, maybe a month down the line, maybe I'm eating my own words. In that case, mark a month from now, the 21st of March, if they're kicking ass and taking names, I got to be honest, I will call out Cutler James. I will call out Dion Lennox, Osiris Griffin, and Saquon Sugars, and I would apologize to them individually on this show. That's a promise. All right, moving on. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. Hope you guys liked it. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And remember, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have all other all other sports shows, who talk about anything from baseball, football, to hockey, to the NBA. The NBA is heating up in the playoffs. Make sure you guys tune into all their podcasts. And, be a part of this GSMC Sports Bloodline, where we will love you, we will cherish you, we would absolutely give you guys all the amazing sports content. And guess what? It's absolutely 1,010% free, so you have nothing to lose to smash that like and subscribe button. All your dreams will come true. Of course, if your dreams are to consume sports content. Thank you guys so much. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, as always, love you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.